Hi, Gary here. How structure can save us. Does function follow form or form follow function? I forget sometimes, but I do know that structure is very important. And so let me begin with a story. I was in a Rotary breakfast meeting many years ago, and halfway through the meeting, they announced who's going to be the speaker. And so this woman comes up and she's going to do flower arranging. Well, I can tell you I wasn't very excited, but I thought, hey, you know what? Let me see what she has to say. One of the very first things she says is, you take this floral frog, you put it in the vase, and then it's all about structure. Wow, that really piqued my interest, because I know that the #1 mistake that investors make is not having proper structure. That's the #1 mistake by far. And so she takes one kind of a flower, puts it in at 90-degree angles from each other, another kind of flower, sticks it in at 90-degree angles again, etc. Pretty soon, this thing looks really good. And it really surprised me, because I'd seen floral arrangements and never really understood the beauty of them and how they looked really well, because it was this very symmetrical, structural way of being put together. And obviously there's an art form to it as well. But it really got me thinking, more about how we do our business. So take the example of the simple spider. The spider is out there with its web. They come in all different kinds, funnels and nautilus shaped, and all different varieties. When a storm comes through and it breaks the web apart, there's so many different connections that the spider can redo the web very quickly. It's a really cool structure. It's something in nature that works well. We have lots of other examples like beavers and birds and everything else, where you see all these examples in nature. But we see them in our own lives as well. We've got the Willis Tower, formerly the Sears Tower here in Chicago. And if you walk into the building in the first floor, you see these huge, massive columns. I know they go down over 100 feet into bedrock, and the building rises to over a quarter mile. But if you come to my house, you'll see just a simple wooden structure going up. If you go to the Golden Gate Bridge, or if you go to the Hoover Dam, huge, massive concrete and steel have to deal with these massive loads and so forth. So, depending on what the final use of a particular structure is for, will basically just have this particular design. And so when we look at investors, there's 3 very important things we look at. It's cash flow, taxes, and balance sheet. And those have to be working together well. So when we look at this structure, it starts what we call goal-based investing. Now go back to the symmetrical formation of this flower arrangement. Think of the ins and outs of cash flow. They kind of got to match each other real well. Then you get into the taxes and the balance sheet that wrap into it. So it depends on the kinds of investment strategies. It depends on the kinds of financial strategies or other kinds of strategies on how that'll all work together. So let me back off here again a little bit and talk this from a different direction. Back in the mid-90s, I had a widow come in to see me, and we were going through explaining how we could help her, down the road. And she goes, "I finally get it." So what's that? She goes, "You're like the nice wallpaper salesman." I went, "Okay, tell me more." She said, "Well, I went to the wallpaper store because I had a master bathroom that I wanted to redecorate." This was, some 6 months ago. So I walked in, nobody was there to help me, and I spent a half hour going around the store. I was so confused, I left frustrated, didn't do anything. Came back several months later to a different store, walked in, and a young man came up to me and started to question me about what I was looking for. And I explained what I was looking for. There were some follow-up questions, and finally, after this short conversation, he took me around to 3 different places and said, "These are the only 6 wallpaper that will fit what you're trying to do at your home." And she said, within a few minutes, I selected one, boom, I was done, I brought it home, finished the project, and it was really great. You're like that. You're kind of got me to understand what I really needed. And that's kind of the same story that happens with individual investments. Once you get the structure in place, and it's goal-based investing, and it's particular to you and to your situation, then the stocks and the bonds and the ETFs and the mutual funds and all these various kinds of investment pieces fall into place because they get narrowed down to what makes sense. So it's not the latest ad that you read or article about different kinds of new investments or some TV pitchman or something else that really applies to you. It's very specific, it's very narrow because it's for your structure, which is goal-based investing. So that's what it's all about. This beautiful arrangement of your stuff into a structure just like the flower arrangement that then will work for you, will fit this structure, this goal-based investing. It's specific to you. We'll make it through the next financial tempest. Now, if you want to find out more about how to put all these pieces together, we do have seminars that come up where we go through this and other areas that will relate to you. You can look for upcoming seminars. Always can give us a call, come in and talk about this or anything else. We'd love to hear from you. So I hope you got something out of this, and until next time, enjoy.